Hi, I'm Coach Joelle, and if I were to talk about what I'm passionate about, where my heart is for all people to be able to experience the magic of life. Now, I know that's an interesting statement. I'm actually a very practical person. One of the things that I loved about coaching is that it's practical. It doesn't talk about things like magic. You don't need to think of the power of positive thinking. Coaching is a set of models and tools that the most practical and rational person can understand, and that's why I loved it. But what ended up happening is I found that when people get cleaned up, when they get rid of their hurts, when they get their own personal power and they just use the tools, life gets really simple. And when life gets really simple, you just start getting exposed to a version of life that isn't all that practical, but it's really, really fun. So then we might ask, well, what does this have to do with economic development? Well, before I became a coach, I was working in corporate America. I worked in Canada for about 6 or 7 years, then moved to the United States, and I was running a branch office in an international organization. And what I was seeing around me was really what pulled me to become a coach. And what I was seeing around me and what I was experiencing was a lot of sadness. So when I talk about the magic of life, a huge piece of that is just people being happy. And when I became a coach, it started with seeking happiness. And, I saw people with everything going for them. No one was starving. People had jobs. Life wasn't that tough, but there was so much suffering going on in the organizations that I saw. And what I saw happening was the final straw for me that ultimately had me leave business and go into coaching was that I saw time and time again the business's interests being making money and corporate profit over everything else. And in the beginning, I saw it over the people. So I saw people that were giving everything that they had to companies, and when it all came down, the shareholders' happiness was more important than the people in the organization. And for me, this wasn't okay. And ultimately, when I started coaching, my commitment was to transform corporate America. Since then, I've seen that suffering that was going on in businesses, that this culture where money is above all other things and you can justify it, it's not just hurting the people. It's very clearly, to me, also impacting the entire planet that we live on. And what's interesting is that when I talk about corporate agendas and corporate profit coming before people or coming before the environment, I know there's people out there watching this right now going, well, of course it's about profit. And I say, come on, says who? Who said this had to be about making money at the expense of everything else? Because this means will not justify the end. In the end, it's not going to work out, big picture. And even if it was going to work out, the residue that you see is a bunch of overdriven, stressed out, sick, unhappy people. Maybe we could justify it if everybody was just bouncing off the walls, but people are suffering. And I'm not talking about the guy at the front line who's making an hourly wage suffering. I'm talking about leaders. I'm talking about people that think that they need to lie to their vendors, to the public, to their employees, just so they can keep their jobs. And this isn't the exception. So what I'm really here to do is bring people a message of hope. Coaching has people look at themselves in a new way and look at what they're doing and stop walking around blindly like they don't have a say in the matter. You absolutely have a say. You always have a say. Always, always. Sometimes the consequences of getting that you have that say, you may not like it, but you always have a say. What is it? Death and taxes. That's all you got to do. The rest is up to you. So for me, I see people stuck in their ruts. I see people asleep. And I just want to shake them and wake them up and show them that their ideas about how things could be, when they stop and take a breath and question what's happening and ask, could I make money and take care of the people? Could I make money and take care of the planet? Could I take care of my own happiness and still feed my family? I'm here to say that you were given these ideas about what could be because they can be. And my job is really to show people how to first wake up and even be aware that those dreams, those little ideas that are just dying to come out, to notice them and to give them some breath, to let them show up, to actually explore. If you could have it any way, how would you have it? And then show them how to make it happen. Because I don't care what you want, whether it's a vital community center or a healthy planet or just a happy life, there's a way. It might take something, but the alternative is, to me, it's just not acceptable. So that's what I care about, and my sincerest wish is that actually I would wish that everybody on the planet had the opportunity to experience the information and the learnings and the lessons that are inside of coaching. Because when I look at the future and where we're heading and what I know is possible, the fastest way there that I can see is to start by taking care of the individual, start by taking care of the person, waking people up. Because once we get how powerful we are, we're unstoppable.